shows Combs being taken into custody.
The food is terrible, the guards are terrible, the conditions are terrible, it's just terrible.
A place that's been described as hell on earth.
You have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet.
What's life for Diddy behind bars? Well, it's nothing like the VIP treatment he's used to. From terrible food to barely there mattresses and tough guards, his reality now is more like a daily battle in a hell on earth. Life at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn isn't what anyone would call easygoing. It's tough, crowded, and bleak. And for someone like Diddy, it's about as far from the high life as it gets. You see, MDC is a detention center where people wait for their trials, has gained a pretty bad reputation for harsh and even unsafe conditions. With severe understaffing and limited medical care, just getting through the day feels like a challenge. Basic needs go unmet here, with inmates crammed into small spaces that are too small and privacy just about non-existent. Cells are small and shared, sometimes meant for one person, but holding up to 3 with barely any room to stretch or any real comforts. Life gets harder when frequent lockdowns force inmates to stay inside their cells for hours or even days with no chance for fresh air, exercise, or a simple walk to stretch out. And as rare as outdoor time is, it's practically a luxury. Diddy's days are a big change from his former lifestyle. Life kicks off around 6 a.m. and breakfast follows soon after. Not a spread to brag about though, as it's mostly cold and tasteless. Throughout the day, head counts are constant and everyone has to show up. With barely any recreational opportunities, there's not much for inmates to do. Though there's a library and a few educational programs, the chaotic environment keeps many from using them. Inmates feel isolated, both physically and mentally, with little to fill their time except just waiting.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs spent his first night behind bars inside a facility that is being called hell on earth. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn is notorious for its appalling living conditions and rampant violence. How bad is it inside this federal lockup? There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here.
Reports even mention frequent power outages and cold conditions, especially during winter, which adds to the discomfort. As a high-profile inmate in protective custody, Diddy faces his own version of isolation. He's mostly cut off from other inmates and has limited social interactions. Guards monitor him closely and every move is under watch. It's a huge contrast from the freedom he once had, and adjusting to this life would be literal hell for him. Diddy isn't the only big name who's experienced MDC. The former CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, is also now here, serving a 25-year sentence. Once known for his wealth and influence, he's now confined by the strict rules and limited freedoms. R. Kelly spent time here too before being moved to serve his 31-year sentence. His time at MDC wasn't easy, with heavy media attention reflecting just how closely the public followed his case. The lack of sufficient medical care made things even tougher for him. Then there's Ghislaine Maxwell, who faced minimal contact with the outside world and strict security measures. Her time here was reportedly cold and uncomfortable, with limited access to the legal resources she needed. Martin Shkreli, infamously known as Farmer Bro, also faced time at MDC for securities fraud. Controversial as he is, he suffered the same overcrowded cells and lack of care as any other inmate, proving that wealth and fame mean little here. Another inmate, rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine or Daniel Hernandez, ended up in MDC due to firearm charges. He cooperated with authorities to reduce his sentence, but even so, his time at MDC shows that no amount of fame can make the experience any easier. For most inmates, MDC isn't just tough, it's punishing. Former inmates have described the conditions as suffocating, with cells that lack proper ventilation and food that many call slop. Overcrowding only makes things worse, creating an intense and tense environment where conflicts can easily break out. Navigating MDC's social structure becomes critical as alliances can make or break an inmate's experience. Some former inmates mentioned that if you get on the guard's good side, you might get small privileges like extra food or more time outside your cell. But it's a tricky balance and not always possible. Survival in MDC requires some pretty hard resilience, a good sense of the unwritten rules, and a strong tolerance for discomfort. Many inmates try to keep a low profile and avoid unnecessary attention, but even a small mistake can have serious consequences. For someone like Diddy, each day is a sharp lesson in adjusting to confinement, isolation, and the relentless routine. The day-to-day is strict and follows a rigid schedule with early wake-up calls, set meal times, and very little room for leisure. Inmates live under constant watch, with frequent strip searches and limited access to showers, all adding to the sense of isolation. Small privileges like access to the commissary become a lifeline, but these comforts can be tough to get, especially for newcomers who haven't figured out the prison's social dynamics. It's a place that demands not just physical resilience, but strong mental endurance as well, with people constantly needing to adapt to a tense, highly controlled environment. In the middle of these harsh conditions and surroundings, Diddy is caught in a major legal storm. He's facing severe challenges, including misconduct and transporting individuals under suspicious circumstances. The accusations are pretty intense. Prosecutors allege that Diddy organized exclusive, substance-fueled parties known as freak-offs, where participants were recruited, some reportedly against their will, and everything from hotel bookings to party supplies was carefully arranged. The case has even darker aspects, with allegations that he tampered with witnesses, attempting to keep them quiet. Given these serious concerns, the court denied him bail, suggesting he might be a flight risk or pose a threat to the public, a decision that's kept the spotlight firmly on this complex and controversial case. The media's coverage of Diddy's case has sparked discussions about power dynamics in the entertainment industry. Reactions from the public vary widely. Some, including Danity Kane members Aubrey O'Day and Don Richards, see the indictment as a necessary step towards justice, viewing it as a moment of recognition for those who may have suffered silently. Others are more skeptical, pointing to his philanthropy and success in the music world, which, for them, complicates the case. This scrutiny ties into broader issues in the entertainment world, where similar accusations have emerged against high-profile figures in recent years, often leaving public opinion split. Diddy's defense team, meanwhile, is adamant that the case has been blown out of proportion, arguing that every interaction was consensual.
Operation to maintain a safe environment, but sources tell ABC News that inmates are not the target, and attorneys who've been seeing clients here for years say the timing is very curious.
None of these issues are revelations that all of a sudden, oh my goodness, we need to go and address them.
Early Monday morning, staffers at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn met by dozens of federal agents and sniffing dogs in search of any illegal items being smuggled inside.
One is left to wonder, is it the publicity, from those of notoriety, those well-known that are trying to get out of there?
I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and, I believe, inhumane housing.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything. I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
Baby oil, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case.
They claim the prosecution has unfairly created a negative public perception, especially with alleged media leaks of sensitive information. Judge Aaron Suberman, who is presiding over the case, has taken steps to ensure fairness, calling for a hearing to examine these alleged leaks and imposing a gag order to prevent any further releases. The trial, scheduled for May 2025, is expected to be a lengthy battle, with both sides ready to present their cases. The prosecution plans to bring forward evidence, including testimonies and materials collected from raids on Diddy's properties that they believe show his involvement in organized criminal activities. Meanwhile, Diddy's defense will argue that these claims are exaggerated and that his actions are within legal bounds. Throughout these intense legal proceedings, Diddy's children, particularly his sons Christian and Justin Coles, have shown strong support. They've attended numerous court hearings, standing visibly by their father's side. In March, following a major federal raid on Diddy's Los Angeles home, where Christian and Justin were briefly detained, the family's unity has become even more evident. Their presence at these court appearances, often alongside their adopted brother Quincy, has underscored a sense of loyalty and resilience. The Coles family is sticking together through a very public and challenging time, reminding everyone that despite the headlines, there is an emotional side to every high-stakes case that impacts not only the accused, but also their families. Recently, Christian, known as King Combs, added a new twist by releasing a diss track in response to those mocking his family. The track specifically took aim at 50 Cent, a longtime critic of Diddy who's publicly ridiculed Diddy amidst the allegations. Christian's lyrics addressed the media frenzy and 50 Cent's taunts, calling out those he feels are exploiting his family's struggles. One notable line, "I dare one of you scream out no Diddy," was a clear jab at 50 Cent's viral jokes. Christian defended his family's success, rapping that despite the raids and intense scrutiny, the Combs family is thriving. He even referenced 50 Cent's famous album, flipping the title into a line about people who will die trying to stop them. This diss track drew mixed reactions. Some praised Christian's boldness, while others questioned if it was the right move during such serious legal proceedings. Meanwhile, the legal troubles surrounding Diddy have not spared his family. Christian is also facing allegations, with a lawsuit accusing him of misconduct aboard a yacht. While separate from Diddy's charges, these accusations have fueled more public debate, further complicating the Combs family's situation. Media coverage of these allegations against Christian has intensified scrutiny on the family, leading many to question if his legal issues might influence public sympathy in Diddy's case. The timing is especially tricky for the family, as Diddy's defense team now faces the added challenge of distancing his case from his sons. Now, Justin, Diddy's oldest biological son, has recently stepped up in a big way to show support for his father. Known for his hustle as a social media influencer and actor, Justin typically flies under the radar when it comes to his dad's dramas. But with Diddy now facing serious federal charges like racketeering and Justin has been thrust into the spotlight alongside him. In a peaceful show of solidarity, Justin was seen at Diddy's high-profile arraignment in New York City, flanked by his younger brother Christian. Throughout the multiple court appearances, Justin's been right there, offering physical and emotional support to his dad, even as his own reputation gets tied into the family drama. For Justin, this is a major shift, as his career and achievements are now overshadowed by the media's interest in his connection to Diddy's legal issues. The focus has shifted from Justin's personal projects to his father's troubles, and whether this public loyalty could end up impacting Justin's image down the road remains to be seen. While Justin has gone all in on supporting Diddy publicly, Quincy Brown, Diddy's adopted son, is playing it cool. The son of the late Kim Porter and Al B. Sure, Quincy has made his own mark in acting and music, though he's attended some of the court hearings to support Diddy. Quincy has done so with a more low-key approach. While his brother Christian's been very vocal, even dropping a diss track, Quincy sticks to subtle appearances and well-crafted public statements. He's also taken on a big brother role, helping to keep his younger twin sisters, Jessie and Delilah, shielded from the intense media focus. Quincy's approach shows he values family loyalty but isn't willing to sacrifice his own career path to prove it. The Combs family's strong, unified front highlights their loyalty, but it also exposes the heavy pressure they're all under. As Diddy's past controversies and legal troubles are brought back into the spotlight, things are getting complicated on a whole new level. Diddy's history of run-ins with the law go back years. In 1999, during his Puff Daddy era, he was involved in one of the most infamous incidents. While out at Club New York in Manhattan with then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, shots rang out and 3 people ended up injured. Diddy faced weapon charges along with rapper Shine, who eventually served a 10-year sentence. Though Diddy was acquitted in 2001, the incident put a dent in his image and stuck around for years. Diddy's legal troubles didn't stop there. In 2005, he was sued after his bodyguards allegedly roughed up a man at one of his parties, with a case ending in a settlement. More accusations of violence followed throughout the 2000s, adding to Diddy's reputation for getting into sticky situations. His business practices also haven't been without controversy. Several artists under his label, Bad Boy Records, publicly voiced complaints about restrictive contracts and finances. Though these disputes were often handled out of court, they contributed to a view of Diddy as someone whose business methods spark as much debate as his music. Recently, some wild rumors have emerged connecting Diddy with none other than Ellen DeGeneres. The two have been friendly for years, with Diddy making multiple appearances on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Their on-screen banter seemed lighthearted.
So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight.
That's a different type of party, though. It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then No, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them.
But as Diddy's legal challenges unfold, their relationship is now drawing attention. People are asking questions about their connection, though there's no concrete evidence to suggest Ellen's involvement in anything questionable. It's Hollywood gossip at its finest, with whispers about Ellen and Diddy's alleged participation in Diddy's notorious freak-off parties. These gatherings are rumored to attract a select crowd, and naturally, Hollywood conspiracy theorists have field day with it. Things take an even stranger twist with the tragic deaths of dancer Stephen Twitch boss and actress Anne Heche. Twitch's passing, officially ruled as suicide, has been the subject of numerous rumors alleging he knew compromising details about Diddy's alleged parties. Theories claim Twitch was pulled into Diddy's inner circle by Ellen and may have had knowledge of things some Hollywood elites would prefer to keep under wraps. Though these claims are completely unsubstantiated, they fuel the public's fascination with the supposed dark side of Hollywood's elite circle. Anne Heche's death also, which is very tragic, didn't escape the rumor mill. Following her car accident, some have speculated that she too was connected to this Hollywood underbelly.
Now to developing news, the final autopsy and toxicology report is out in the death of actress Anne Heche. It shows Heche had cocaine in her system, but the coroner says there was no evidence of impairment by illicit substances at the time of the crash. Heche crashed her car into a home, causing a fire and trapping her in her vehicle for at least 45 minutes. She died several days later from injuries she sustained in the fiery crash.
Although, again, there's no evidence to back up these claims, this swirl of speculation has only fed the ongoing narrative that there's a shadowy world within Hollywood, populated by powerful figures who can control what stays hidden. Back in the courtroom, Diddy's family's right there in the mix, facing the fallout of these controversies. Justin's dedication to his dad, Quincy's carefully balanced support, and Christian's more outspoken outspoken style all combine to create a unified family front. But each family member is clearly dealing with their own struggles as they try to navigate the complex web of fame, family loyalty, and personal ambition. For Diddy, things are pretty intense right now. After building his empire for over 30 years, filled with both cheers and some wild scandals, he's at a point where his future could go in two different ways. If he ends up getting convicted, it could really set him back. But if he comes out of this okay, it'll just be another story of him bouncing back. No matter what happens, it's clear that Diddy and his family are right in the thick of it and everyone's watching. Will this strengthen the Combs family's bond, or will it leave a mark on their legacy? Guess we'll have to wait, but you know you'll hear it from us first, so stay tuned and do drop your thoughts in the comment section below.